Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like just to introduce myself very short. My name is Ali FAONUS. I'm a food technologist from Halal Control in Germany. So I have today the presentation about the production of enzymes and starter cultures from halal perspective. In my presentation, there are here the main points in our agenda. It's here. The first point is about in general about the microbial products. I would like to give you also an overview about the starter cultures and the application of these starter cultures, especially here in food, and would like to know how these starter cultures are produced and what are the halal critical points in this production. The second the topic is here enzymes. In general, also the definition of enzymes, the application of these enzymes, and also the critical also points regarding these enzymes in perspective of halal perspective. So in general here, the microbial products, there are products which are produced by microorganisms, for example, yeast, bacteria, or mold, in a certain media or fermentation media, substrate, and certain conditions. There are many products which are produced by using biotechnology, many additives and processing aids. For example, here starter cultures, enzymes, some vitamins, for example, vitamin C, amino acids, some organic acids such as lactic acid, ascorbic acid. Also in pharmaceutical sector, we can see also many hormones and medicines that are also produced by this technology. So now the starter cultures, there are here microorganisms that are used actually in the production of cultured dairy products, for example, yogurt or cheese. The main or the primary function of the lactic acid starter cultures is here the production of lactic acid from lactose. So this microorganism can transform the lactose to the lactic acid. They have also other functions, or they have some properties. For example, they can also produce some flavors, aroma, and also improve the structure of the product. They can also here inhibit the undesirable organisms. So in this case, they can conserve or preserve actually the products. So in the application here, we can find many. We can find here the starter cultures that are used in many food sectors, especially here in dairy products. For example, here butter, cheese, yogurt, iron, and also in the meat production, also bakery industry. We can see also these starter cultures, and also here in some supplementary nutrients or food, for example, here as can be also taken. So now here the production of these starter cultures. The first step is here the preparation of fermentation media or substrate. The substrate or fermentation media shall contain or shall have actually the main sources for the or the main elements here for the microorganism. For example, here carbohydrates such as glucose, melas, for example, sugar, proteins such as here milk proteins, whey proteins, some elements also, and vitamins. So, of course, the fermentation media shall or must be sterilized and must be also free from any contaminants or from any strange or undesirable microorganism. The second stage or second step in the production of the fermentation media is here the fermentation. So there are here different steps or different fermenters or bioreactors. The first step takes place in the laboratory in the seed fermenter, and the next step is here the fermentation in the big fermenter or in the main bioreactor. Of course, here the parameters, for example, here the oxygen or CO2, the pH, for example, the temperature can be here controlled, and also some samples can be also taken to be sure that during the fermentation there is no cross-contamination with other microorganisms. So now the next step is here the downstream. The microorganism after the growth of this microorganism, the microorganism should be harvested, and also the waste such as substrate or other waste must be removed during by using the centrifugation, so the microorganism can be also purified, and also by adding some additives such as lactose or dextrose or maltodextrin as carriers. They can be also preserved for a long time. So there are also many different methods to preserve or to preserve actually the microorganism. So the microorganism can be also frozen or can be also freeze-dried by using this technology, freeze drying. So we can get here a microorganism for, or we can actually expand here the shelf life of the microorganism. Now, regarding here the halal, what are actually the main points, or what are actually the critical points as halal auditor when we certify, for example, or when we audit a company which is producing microorganism or starter cultures? We have to concentrate on some points. The first point is here the growth media itself. It could contain critical materials or questionable materials. The second thing is here the enzymes which are used as processing aids in the media preparation, and also there are some processing aids which are they could be also non-halal materials or questionable materials. And the last point is here the genetic modified microorganisms. We start here with the growth media. You can see here there are some elements or ingredients. They can be used actually in the growth media, for example, in beef extract, meat extract. So of course we have to know the source of this meat. If this meat comes from halal animal, is the animal here started according to Islamic law, we have to collect this information. So we have also here peptone. Peptone, it's here hydrolyzed protein. It can be obtained from meat, from casein, for example, or gelatin. So in this case, we have to know the source of the peptone. So there are also some digested proteins. In this case, we have to know how these proteins have been digested. There are many methods. For example, here we can use. It could be that enzymes can be used in the manufacturing process, or some acids, for example, they can be also used in the manufacturing process. So anyway, the hydrolyzed proteins must be checked And we have to be sure that these hydrolyzed proteins they come from halal sources, and the enzymes which are used in the manufacturing process must also be halal. So we can see also some plant origin protein. For example, here soy protein. Usually soy protein is halal, but because the source is halal here. But if the soy protein has been digested or hydrolyzed, in this case we have to know also we have to know the enzymes which are used in the hydrolyzation process. So some other ingredients are haram, for example, blood, or for example, pole gelatin. It can be also bovine gelatin or other kind of gelatin, but we have to check if this gelatin is halal or not. Some amino acids, for example, here can be also used. Amino acids can be produced also by using biotechnology, and they are critical materials. So let's see some examples here. Meat, like meat extract, gelatin. So it's important also to say that gelatin, there is no istihala from pork gelatin. So it means if the gelatin comes from pork materials, for example here bones or hides, so in this case there is no istihala from pork material. So pork gelatin is always haram, and also a bovine gelatin or other kind of gelatins, we have to know here to check if this gelatin has a halal certificate or not. And also here the enzymatic digest of casein, so the source of enzymes which are used in the manufacturing process is really here important to be sure that this material is halal. So we can find also many in the dairy industry, many selective media can be also used to cultivate special microorganism. And for example, this Elica media, this media could contain also questionable materials. For example, here ascorbic acid, it's here a microbial material. Gelatin is also could be here pork gelatin or bovine gelatin. Sodium acetate also. So we can see also here many critical or questionable material. Here we can see a meat extract, for example here beef extract. So if the beef or if the halal animal is slaughtered according to Islamic way, it's here a question mark. Enzymatic digest of animal tissue is we have to know also the source of these animals, and if these animals are also slaughtered according to Islamic way. So during the production also, or during the fermentation process, some processing aids could also be used in the manufacturing process. So, for example, here the anti-foaming agents, it could be here from animal origin, it could be here animal oil, lard, for example, or fatty acids. It can be also in non-critical materials such as silica. So we have to check. Or some other processing aids, for example, here polyoxyl stearate. Stearate, it could be also could become from stearic acid, and stearic acid could also could be obtained from animals. So the other point here also during the downstream or to purify the microorganism and also to have good products. So in this case, some materials, for example here, activated carbon can be also used in the process. Activated carbon, usually it is obtained from the plants, but it can be also obtained from animal bones. For example, in some countries, they can be also used. For example, in European Union, it's forbidden to use activated carbon from the animal source, but in some countries outside the European Union, it can be used from animal origin. The next topic is here the enzymes. Enzymes are proteins that act as biological catalysts by accelerating the chemical reactions without themselves being altered in the process. There are also many, so about the function or how the enzymes works. It's here, it's like the key and also the so lock and key model. So it means here the enzymes are very specified and they can only activate it, or they can only catalyze special reactions for the special substrates. So we can see here the sources of these enzymes. There are many sources for the enzymes. There are enzymes from bacteria, for example, alpha amylase, beta amylase, for example. There are also some enzymes from animals, for example, catalase, lipase, rennet. There is microbial rennet and also animal rennet. There are also some enzymes can be obtained from fungi or also from plant or yeast. The application of these enzymes is very widely, for example, in beverage industry, to increase the yield of these beverages. In dairy products, for example, we have already mentioned the rennet. So also in the sweet industry, pharmaceutical industry, in the detergents, for example, and also in the textile industry. So we can see here some hydrolyzed materials, for example, here whey hydrolyzed and also casein hydrolyzed can be also used in baby food. They are very important materials because the baby, they can't digest the big molecular proteins. So, for example, here the hydrolyzed whey protein is very suitable for the baby food, but we have to know that how this whey protein hydrolyzed produced. Usually, some animal enzymes here, trypsin or pepsin, can be used to produce these products or these materials, and trypsin comes usually from pork. So it's very critical materials. There is also here the genetic modification of the enzyme of the microorganism, which are responsible for or which are used for production of enzymes is very important, because some microorganisms can be genetic modified and they can be they can also contain some genetic materials from pork. And for example, here we have Escherichia coli microorganism can produce here the hormone insulin, and this Escherichia coli could contain here some genetic materials from pork, from pancreas, for example, pork pancreas. So in this case, we have to know here if any pork materials in the genetic modified microorganism, so we can consider them halal, and also the products, I mean here the enzymes or the microbial products which are produced by these genetic modified microorganisms are not halal. So you can see here also, for example, the production of rennet. Some genetic materials can be taken from the calf cells, and they are injected here in the yeast, and the yeast can produce here the rennet chymosin. And there are also other examples here, but it's here the very famous example, because rennet or the microbial rennet can be used here also in many cheeses to produce many cheese, especially halal cheese. Thank you very much, and for your questions, and of course, here ready to answer your questions. Thank you very much.